And we're back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dark Phoenix Gaming, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Last time we left off, we were ambushed by some of Logain's assassins, who Zevran, the one survivor, elected to join our party since apparently the people who he actually worked for are kind of bastards and would have straight up killed him for coming back after failing. So he's working for us now, but we're keeping an eye on him, and he's very much in the untrustworthy camp. So he's back at camp right now, with Sten and Morgan keeping an eye on him for us. And we are here in the Frostbacks, where we are going to seek the aid of the dwarves. And there are a bunch of people up ahead. Not sure quite what this is about, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Oh, it's bounty hunters. Of course it's bounty hunters. Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. Alistair, use overpower. Win. Fire them. Liliana can rapid shot. And we will just keep attacking as normal. Now turn around so you aren't getting back hit. There's a fucking mage over there. Win. If you would be so kind. We need a group heal.
Armed and dangerous, ready for action.
Or two of us could die. That's also a possibility. I think Arianne needs to be revived first. So let's go get the mage. Close combat against mages generally ends badly for them, after all. Ugh. That could have gone better. I need to work on my strategies a bit, but we won. That is what matters. And I will take their money, of course. And the firebolts. Don't think... No, both of those go the same way, so that was fucking pointless. Now... Oh, deserter and a shady thug. That deserter there is one of the guys we're asked to deal with for the Blackstone Irregulars. We took care of Samal over at Lake Calenhad. Denerim's gonna have to wait a bit because we don't know what kind of reaction we'll get strutting into the town where we killed their Arl's kid, even if he was a rapist bastard, so we'll be doing that one last. Anyways, hello there, Mr. Deserter. I'm here on behalf of the Blackstone Irregulars.
Oh? What was this about?
I'm here to bring you in for desertion.
I worried this might happen. I hoped it wouldn't be you who came for me. I have no choice. Forgive me, Warden, but I cannot go back with you.
Didn't expect you to be honest. Okay, there's 3 of them. I'm going straight for the jugular. Alistair. Can do a shield pummel on him. Liliana. Shattering shot. Win can shoot lightning at him, I guess. So. Oh, and Doggo, you can also go for the leader. Gets a couple of backstabs in there before we have to go do anything else. Let's see. Why don't you go take care of him, Liliana? And yes, this Alistair took down that idiot, so we're good there. Everyone charge. Gotcha. Yeah, that went about as well as we were expecting from these guys, to be perfectly honest. I don't need more studded gloves.
Let's get started.
Leave them. Guild supplies and some ring or other. I'll take it. Okay. What's in this barrel? Just an ordinary dagger. No use for that, quite frankly.
The darkspawn took
Fane. Haven't we heard that name somewhere before? Something to do with one of my companions. Oh right, Sten's sword. He looted the battlefield near Lake Calenhad, where Sten's friends died. So we should ask about that. Sten will be very upset with us if we don't. And he is keeping an eye on us, on Zevran for us. Plus, for some strange reason, the man actually likes us.
Step right up, friend, and have a look at the finest selection of almost new armor and weaponry east of Orlais.
Are you Farron by any chance?
Oh, you've heard of me. What have you heard? Just so you know, some of my competitors have been trying to besmirch my sterling reputation.
Did you happen to find a Kunari sword amongst your things that you looted?
Canary? I'm afraid I don't know the word.
Oh, cut the bullshit. The people you looted by Lake Calenhad.
Oh, them. Well, I have a few shields here. I had one sword, but I sold it already.
And who did you sell it to?
A collector. I can't go telling you all about my paying customers. One, it's not ethical. And two, it's bad for business. A lot of my customers are sensitive types.
Not
They
ethical.
don't want their personal business related to every
That's
strange
rich coming from the corpse looter. So tell me, or I'll let the original owner know where you are. I'm certain he'd like to have a word or two with you, which may involve tearing out your throat with his bare hands, if you're unlucky.
If I'd known he was still breathing, I would have used a knife. I mean, I'd have been more careful.
Okay, where's the damn sword?
Redcliffe. The guy who bought it lives in Redcliffe. He's a collector. A dwarf named Dwin, I think. I don't want any trouble. If you see that giant, tell him I don't have it, would you? I don't, I swear.
Okay, I'll keep quiet. We're not gonna blackmail the guy, even if he is a slimy piece of shit.
Andraste bless you, friend.
Besides, 3 sovereigns isn't that much, actually. We could spend that on potion ingredients in an afternoon. Even if it is almost half of what we currently have, it's still not a lot.
Kill them all at least. Oh, I guess they got better. More like.
Here's one of the apprentices the Mages Collective wanted us to deliver notes
So,
to.
let me
That's
get
right.
this straight. You were a cloistered sister?
You must have been a brother before you became a Templar, no?
I never actually became a Templar. I was recruited into the Grey Wardens before I took my final vows.
Do you ever regret leaving the Chantry?
No, never. Do you?
Yes. You may not believe it, but I found peace there. The kind of peace I've never known.
It used to get so quiet at the monastery that I would start screaming until one of the brothers came running. I would tell them that I was just checking. Oh, you never know, right?
No, I never did anything like that. I enjoyed the quiet.
Suit yourself. The look on their face was always priceless.
Alistair was obviously quite the prankster at heart when he was younger. Come on, Liliana, you can't tell me you never enjoyed the odd practical joke at the expense of your fellows. Everyone does it.
What can I do for you?
I have a note here from your master.
This ought to be interesting. Such diction. This man is a true scholar and rhetorician. I am honored to be fired by one such as he. Good day.
Okay, that was really fucking weird, I gotta be honest. I'm honored to be fired because of how good his grammar is. Wow. Wow.
King Loghain will not suffer the delay of his appointed
Excuse me, King Loghain? Last I checked, he was just the fucking regent. When did the bastard go and appoint himself king?
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desha, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
I see. Well, I have urgent need to speak to your king.
Who doesn't? If I don't get in, no one should.
Orzammar has no
Well,
king.
he's a bastard.
Danger
I already
Knight
don't
could
like
return
these
to the
people.
stone not 3 weeks ago. Sick over
Not the
loss of
dwarf,
his
the other
son.
idiots.
The assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
I am a Grey Warden. This treaty obliges Orzammar to aid me, and yeah, bit of a gamble to be mentioning us being a Grey Warden in front of Loghain's toadies, but honestly, if they start problems right on the dwarves' doorstep, that's on them.
The Wardens killed King Kaelin and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the royal seal. That means only the assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain,
Foreigner?
I demand that you
Excuse
execute
me?
this
I
stain
happen
on the
to
honor
have been
of
born
Ferelden.
in Denerim, you bastard. Run off to your false king, then. The dwarves will not hear him today.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
Yeah, let's not be starting any
You are free to
fights
enter Orzammar,
on the
Grey Warden.
dwarves' doorstep
Though I don't
if we
know
can
what help
avoid
you'll
it.
find.
I don't know how that would be taken diplomatically, honestly, so let's not risk it.
A trust follow, Warden. Your arrival is a mixed blessing. We prefer that outsiders not witness our infighting, but your presence will be tolerated.
How generous of you.
Fair journeys, Warden.
How generous.
Do you think they sell miniatures of these in the city? I would love to have some on my mantle.
Yes.
How did you get in? A bit of food.
Now that's
Which
a
is
thing
the
of beauty.
paragons.
If you work hard like Branka, all Orzammar will know your name.
These are not your
Mother,
ancestors.
I don't want to be like her.
Take the memory of our paragon.
Don't say that. That's to me,
Get
not
back
to
to
anyone.
Dust Tower.
Now get back to the forge. I want to see
Or
more
I'll throw
details.
you into the deep road.
Yes, Mother.
Snack for the
Well, I just saw that lady for 3 seconds and I can already tell she's a
This
bitch.
should be easy enough.
you think will happen to all those people we left behind in Lothering?
Some of them will find their way to Denerim. Many will die, as the Maker wills.
Don't you wish you could have stayed there? To help more people, I mean.
If the Blight isn't stopped, everyone will die. This is the greater good we're serving, both of us, right here.
So it's all right to let some people die for the greater good? I'm not so sure about that. I felt bad leaving all those people there, all panicked and helpless.
You're doing what you must, Alistair. There will be worse to come yet. You will need to steel yourself. You know this.
I've never been very good at that. The steeling myself part. I find it better sometimes to just be a little weak. I'm all right with that, really.
I don't believe you. And either way, it's not as if any of us has a choice.
I love the little conversations between party members. It's such a nice little touch. And honestly, the interactions that I find the most interesting are the ones with some combination of Liliana, Wynne, Alistair, and Zevran in the party, because, and we'll get to Zevran's backstory stuff later, but they had the most interesting stuff to say to each other, because Wynne basically being the mom of the group, and Liliana and Alistair, you can sort of tell they don't necessarily agree on everything, but they get along well enough. Whereas, if it's Alistair with Sten or Morgan, they're just basically throwing barbs and bitching at each other all the time, which gets quite tiresome after a while. This group, with occasionally switching out Liliana for Zevran, I find to be the most interesting to take on my journeys.
It is the Assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the Assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew.
Handlers, separate these dashers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
Not speak that way about the man who should be king!
Well, that's a cheery introduction into things. Love how the guy who's a potential successor to the dwarf's throne just stood there and watched while his crony, he killed someone in the middle of the street. Charming. Truly charming.
For a tiny people, they certainly build high ceilings.
Must be compensating for something.
Vieta, Surfacer. I'm bid to let you walk the commons, but keep your place. Warden or not, I want order.
Honestly, I'm amazed your city can function like this, if that's the common state of things.
See, that's why I don't want you surfacers seeing our worst. You'll think that's all we are. The market is thin, but busy, and the tavern never closes.
Always
Bad
important
blood
things,
is
true.
Proving. Should toss Balin and Harrowmont in there. Sort this all out in a hurry.
Sorry, the proving? This is my first time in Orzammar, so I'm not caught up on the local customs.
Personal battles for honor and ancestor. I don't expect a surfacer to understand. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate. The true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
Okay, somewhere I can get information. Thanks. Yeah, sounds like Balin and Harrowmont are the ones to talk to for my issues. with allies.
They've caged themselves for fear of each other. As you've seen, keeping order down among us working people is dodgy. No place for a proper lord. Balin speaks through his second, Vartag Gavorn, in the Assembly. Lord Harrowmont speaks through Dulin Ferender from his estate.
Okay. And you mentioned paragons?
Surfacers appoint no paragons? Truly, you're lost in all that sky. They are the best of us, declared living ancestors. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate. The true bright
Now you're just bloody repeating yourself. I should go.
Yes, you should.
If they're dealing with political bullshit right now, they are not going to be too open to us asking for assistance against the Blight, I don't think. So we won't even ask.
Ancestors, guard my son, for he is lost in darkness. Mothers, keep him safe, for you know what it is to mourn.
Well, who are you then?
I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? Although, I can't imagine your ancestors reside in the stone.
Not exactly, no. Who are you, anyways?
My name is Vilda, widow of Turak of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Ruck. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul.
Safe return? You mean your son is missing?
It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them.
The Deep Roads?
The Deep Roads are where Darkspawn come from.
Oh, right. That's the tunnels outside the city. Gotcha.
And we must patrol them constantly or be overrun. I lost my husband to them. If I lost my son the same way...
Did anyone go after him?
The captains don't want to lose anyone searching for stray men. Too many were taken by Darkspawn that way.
Well, we shouldn't just abandon him. I'll go and look for him. I'm certainly going to wind up in the Deep Roads at some point if my luck with the Circle Tower is anything to go by.
How? There is no way except to brave the Deep Roads yourself.
I'm a Grey Warden. That's what we do.
A warden? So you could do it. Only wardens face the Deep Roads without a company backing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers.
Take heart, good Widow Filda. We'll do our best.
Please, find me as soon as you return.
Okay. Well, looks like we've got more to do here than just convince the politicians. Let's decide with us. Brother Burkle. Is that a dwarf wearing a chantry robe?
Maker's blessing on you, sister.
I didn't think dwarves believed in the Maker.
I'm Brother Burkle of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzenheim.
Well, given how fervent most dwarves I've seen are with the ancestor worship thing, I don't see that going particularly well. But we'll ask anyways. Don't dwarves worship their ancestors?
There is resistance. It's obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. Yet the dwarves of Orzammar persist in worshipping their own forefathers.
Whose permission would you need to open a chantry?
The Shaper controls changes in Orzamar's structure and society. I need the Shaper of Memory's permission to open a prayer meeting.
The Shaper of Memories?
The Shaper of Memories controls the Shaperate, Orzamar's record system. Like the Chantry's historians, but more thorough. They track the births and lineage of every dwarf born in the city. Every property sale, death in battle, marriage, or divorce.
Wow, that is thorough. If I happen to bump into the Shaper, I'll be sure to mention it to him.
I can see the Maker's hand on your shoulder, guiding you always.
If this chantry could help just one person as much as it helped me, it's worth any trouble.
Please, let me know as
It could also start a religious civil war in Orzammar. We already have a potential political one. And Liliana, let's not push our luck. And we're going the wrong way, because what we want to be going to, actually, is the noble side of things. As we need to talk to their steward. But 2 more side quest people around, I see.
I knew I should have stuck to common nugs. I've gone and lost them too. I'll never find them the way they skitter.
Common nugs? I don't like those. They look dirty.
No way I'm going back to that supplier in Dust Town. Guess I'm shutting it down.
Nugs. I'm not familiar. They dangerous?
Gotta boil them before roasting, but otherwise no, safe as sand. Some people swear they make good pets. May as well leash a turnip, I say.
Well, if I see any of them, I'll send them your way.
Good on you, stranger. Only need one to turn this around.
Yeah, and that is literally a quest. Find Nugs.
Do you have a moment?
Okay.
You look like you're not from around here.
Well, you're not wrong. Can I help you with something, kid?
I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
You mean the Circle of Magi?
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
But dwarves can't use magic. Why would you want to go to the Circle? I'm confused. You want to leave Orzammar?
I want to go to the Circle to study. I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing.
I mean, she's not wrong. It would be pretty valuable for the mages to learn more about lyrium smithing and maybe get the dwarves to respect magic more. I can see that. I'll bring them your request.
That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smith Pass. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperiums for Tikum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister
I
Lord
don't know what that even means,
known to
but
produce a mage child?
there's a lot of big words involved.
And adorable. I'm glad we're helping her.
So, I'm going to assume she's knowledgeable. Because big words means knowledgeable, right? And Diamond Quarter. That sounds like where the rich people hang out. Let's go. Hmm.
The end of Orzammar be nigh. Turn to Lord Harrowmont
A nug.
and ensure the future of Dwarven society.
Oh. We'll have to turn that one back in when we head into the standard area again. Royal Palace.
Raise your voice in favor of Lord Balin. He will bring us change and prosperity.
So this is the seat of the king. Except he isn't sitting there at the moment, I suppose.
And yeah, Rando's just screaming, support the king. Or support Balin for king. Nice. Yeah, that's the Royal Palace, so... Not the Assembly Chamber, which is this thing. We found where the steward's gonna be chilling, so let's head on in and hear what he has to say. Yeah, we could talk to Vortag there. Balin's man, but I think getting some more background insight from the steward
The assembly is in session.
would probably be for the best. Yes, we'll watch their clusterfuck unfold.
Your mind is gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the service trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest you put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions.
Charming. Good to see the politicians have everything well in hand.
Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. I'm sorry. This is the assembly of the clans. Only Deshers and occasional guests of state are allowed in.
You don't recognize a Grey Warden?
Forgive me. I am so exhausted. I completely
Yeah,
forgot about the
I saw the meeting. I don't blame you.
Welcome to Orzammar, Warden. I hope you can forgive our unrest. The loss of our king has hit us hard. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne.
Yes, well, there's a blight on the way. Surely you can speed things up.
Trouble, but it will still seem distant compared to the empty throne. The assembly is blind to all else.
So who has the authority to aid me?
I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Balin or Lord Harrowmont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
So we have to actually take sides and put a candidate on the throne. Lovely. Lovely. Well, this fellow is here. Balin's representative is here and present, so we'll talk to him.
Warden, it is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag de Horn, top advisor to our good Prince Balin. What news do you bring?
Well, I need aid against a blight. Let's just come right out and say it.
Yes, the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now, the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king. And we are sadly...
Oh, yeah, that is a problem. If the treaty specifically says that it was signed between a king and the Grey Wardens rather than Orzammar as a whole. So of course they feel like they can't help. Getting by on a technicality. Is there some way that I can help speed things along? We really do need these troops. You must have heard about Ostagar by now, and the Darkspawn have already made it at least to Lothering.
My prince is the rightful king, but a disappointing number of lords back the upstart Harriman for the throne. If you show your support for Prince Balin, he might be able to assist with your requests.
I thought King Endrin supported Harriman. That's what I'm hearing on the grapevine anyways.
That hurts worst of all. That Harriman would take advantage of the dying king's delirium to plant such poisonous suspicions against his own son. After that, you understand why Balin cannot trust the word of a stranger, however reputable that stranger might be.
Alright, fair enough. What do you want?
Harriman is engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harriman's deception.
Irrefutable evidence, which I suppose you have?
I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude.
Okay. What kind of evidence?
Harriman promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady Dace and Lord Helmy. Oh, excuse me, two assembly members. Desher is their formal title. Harriman can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Harriman gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes.
Okay. And if it's not too forward to be asking this, where did you get those notes?
That's not important. If they ask, say you found them while searching the Shaper's libraries for your treaty.
The Shaper's libraries, eh? Very well, I'll go and find them.
Lady Dace doesn't leave the quarter much, but Lord Helmy's adventurous, likes to spend his time at tapsters in the Commons. Remember, don't tell them you got these papers from me. You learned of them and drew your own conclusions.
Now, first off, I have to say right out, I don't trust this guy at all. And we're going to have to learn a little bit more about how Balin wants to approach things and what people think of him before we decide who we're officially going to back. The first thing I'm planning on doing is trying to find the Shapers and get them to tell me if these notes are legit or not. And who do we have here but Harriman's man?
I heard there was a Grey Warden here. I am Dulin Forrender, second to Lord Harriman, King Endrin's own choice as successor. Word is spreading that the surface may suffer a blight. It is shameful we are not in a better position to help.
Yes, well, I have a treaty obliging Orzammar to aid against a blight, but apparently it only works for the actual king.
That may be, and that is a terrible risk for the surface. But even if the world would end tomorrow, Lord Harriman cannot ignore Balin today. He cannot afford to trust anyone of unproven loyalties.
Okay. How can I prove I'm not with Balin then?
That's a generous offer. If you mean it, you might attend the proving today. The Deshers take it very seriously. And unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harriman's best fighters into stepping down.
So, you want me to enter the proving in Harriman's name, do you?
It would certainly make your loyalties loud and clear. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harriman would have no fear of meeting with you
Okay. On to your bloody proving.
Excellent. The arena is located off the Commons. Talk to the Proving Master and tell him you're entering Lord Harriman's roster. The key fighters we lost were Guidon and Beisel. You can look for them in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure it's before the fights begin. After the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I will wait in the Tapster's Tavern off the Commons. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps even word of your victory.
And yes, we picked up the quests for both sides of things because Arianne has not made up her mind on which of the two we are going to side with yet. So by agreeing to assist both of them, we can learn more about the two's positions and decide whose help would be better for the Wardens and Orzammar as a whole. Shaper it, eh?
Yes?
Never mind. I did not mean to click on you, Liliana, but I want to ask around a little.
Who dare take from the memories?
Someone stole from this place, apparently.
Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaper. What have we been reduced to?
Did you get a look at him?
I did. He was bald, the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine. He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dust Town. They couldn't know the value.
I don't know. They could have been looking for family history or something. It's not unheard of. And who's this, then?
Oh, pardon me. Were you looking for a particular volume? Not that I could really help. I don't know the libraries very well. I'm just doing some research.
What kind of research?
I was looking for something about the Orton Tig. It was lost during the last blight, and there aren't many records left. They were a noble house once, descended from the Paragon Orton, who composed the grand epic of the Seven Brothers and the Ortonic Symphony. My mother's family believes they were descended from Kalana Orton, who was training in Orzammar when the Tig fell. I'm even named for the house, Orta. Unfortunately, any records would be buried in the Tig's ruins, somewhere in the deep roads.
I see. Well, I'm a Grey Warden. I'm certainly not afraid of the deep roads. I can help you out.
A Grey Warden? Mother always said that if anyone could find the Tig, it was the Wardens. I hear Prince Balin and Lord Harriman have both been sending out small teams these days. Yes, if you can find the Tig in any records, that could do it. That could prove I'm a noble. If you could. Maybe now that you're looking. It's almost too much.
Is proving that you're a noble really that important? I have to admit, I don't get the significance, but she certainly seems like a nicer potential noble than those arrogant snots. It's up on the surface, that's for sure. Oh, the Shaper.
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace. The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand. I apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories.
Shaper of Memories?
The Shaperate guards Orzammar's knowledge. We have preserved in Lyrium all of the records of Dwarven history. The memories record all. They are how we know to which family a child owes life, how we trace lost Tigs. They ensure we forget nothing of our past, good or bad.
Unless someone conveniently wants it erased. Could you have a look at these promissory papers for me?
These are Harrowmont lands promised here. But these are not the deals we approved at the Shaperate. Where did you get these?
Vartag Gavorn gave them to me.
And he scripted these counterfeits? This is a serious crime. I will have the Ministry of Lands begin an investigation into the Gavorns immediately.
These papers are forged?
Not entirely. There were 2 promised deals, but their terms differed significantly from what is presented here. It appears the scripter altered the dates and locations of the agreements to make them identical.
And what do you know about Vartag?
The Gavorn family is a minor one, founded when a daughter of the Ferender house married down to a warrior caste man. Her brother died, leaving her family heirless. So the Assembly granted him a new family name and allowed him to adopt his daughter's children as heirs. Vartag Gavorn is on record asking the Assembly to bar Harrowmont from King Endrin's sick room. He's a vocal supporter of Prince Balin.
Well, let's talk about something else.
I am the man to ask if you wish to access the memories of the ancestors. What is it you would know?
Yes, I would like your permission to have a chantry opened here.
That is an odd request, especially for one so new to
Oh,
the city.
it's not for me. I am here on behalf of Brother Burkle, a cleric of Redcliffe.
I thought so. This is not the first time he's made this plea.
Okay.
My answer to Brother Burkle hasn't changed. So I ask you the same. On what basis would you have me insult the ancestors and overturn 2,000 years of tradition?
Well, to be honest, it's a fair question. And let's see. Honestly, Arianne is not very fond of the Chantry's priests and how they tend to behave, but we can admit that their charity work has done some good. And I'm sure that could aid Orzammar.
What sort of charities do you mean?
Well, the Chantry could provide work for the casteless.
I am not certain this is in Orzammar's best interests. Our castes have served us well, but it's possible this service could benefit our people. Very well, he may hold a prayer meeting as he requested, if not build a new temple to his god. At least the words would come from one of our own. Now, is there anything more?
Well, I would like to know a little more of Orzammar's history. I am fortunately a bit ignorant when it comes to that.
We were a great empire once, outnumbering even humans and elves. We traded with your Tevinter Imperium, and our land stretched as far in the deep roads as theirs did above. Kal Sharok was capital then, but we lost too many battles. We lost our golems, and we lost our territory. Now the Empire is simply ruined tunnels filled with darkspawn.
Golems. You lost your golems. How did that happen?
The Paragon Caradon, a smith of unsurpassed genius, invented the golems. For years they were our weapon against the darkspawn. One golem is worth 12 dwarves in battle, but Caradon's Tig is far into the deep roads. When it fell, we lost his secret to creating golems. There are books about it along these walls if you would read more.
I'm sorry, what's a Tig?
They are to us what a colony is to surfacers.
Okay, fair enough. Where is Kal Sharok?
At the other side of the old empire. During the last blight, the kings of Orzammar knew they couldn't hold everything. They sealed the deep roads, abandoning everyone still trapped in far-flung settlements. It was the only way to survive. Kal Sharok is the only other city to outlast the blight. We only rediscovered them recently, and they still haven't forgiven us.
Well, I should go.
Your presence here has been recorded in the memories. I wish I knew what significance it has.
Yeah, and apparently Balin's man's been tweaking the details of what's Harrowmont's arrangement. It actually was. So,
A new offensive is required.
We're between a few things here with regards to that. On the one hand, Balin's asked us to deliver some notes, which it's a little inconvenient, but it's not that bad. Until you think about the fact that he is asking us to deliver lies. Harrowmont, on the other hand, wants us to fight for him. Literally, the man's not willing to get his hands dirty, so we have to do it for him. Which we're not particularly fond of the fact that he won't even dirty his hands to fight for his own cause. So, between a politician lying and scheming to get what he wants with Balin and someone who won't even get his hands dirty in a fight with Harrowmont, we don't have great options, really. But I think I'm going to cut it here, and when we come back next time, we will have to see if we can't make a decision about who we're going to support, because this first quest, once we pick a path, that officially aligns us with one of them. And while there are ways to swap that alignment later, generally if you pick a path, I tend to stick to it. Anyways, this has been Dark Phoenix Gaming, and you have been watching Dragon Age Origins with Arianne Tabris. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more Dragon Age Ferelden adventures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you then, folks. See you then.